Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the figures I've been using the most for my size comparisons. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Star-Lord. Now, I'm very excited to start with this new character, but now let's take a look at the packaging first. And here is Star-Lord's packaging with, of course, the infamous plastic-free packaging. A lot of people really hate this packaging, and even though I think that, like, the render of the figure and the render of the character is nice, I still dislike this kind of packaging, mainly because you can't see the figure before you open it. And I honestly think that the old style Marvel Legends packaging, like the one we saw with the Marvel Legends She-Hulk, is so much better. And even with this, there's actually a bigger risk of buying Marvel Legends now, because since these are completely closed, you can easily rip the slight piece of tape off and interchange it for whatever the thief has, and go away with a new Marvel Legends and leaving some old thing behind. I once saw an image of someone who bought a 2-pack, which are super expensive, and ended up with some WWE wrestler figures instead of the Marvel Legends. So yeah, be very careful with that. Thankfully, all the ones I've got with this kind of packaging have thankfully had the figure inside, but now enough with the packaging. And let's go to the figure himself. So here we have Star-Lord. And first thing I want to mention is that this is probably my favorite Marvel Legends in my collection, because this figure is pretty fantastic. Now, one thing that all of these Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Marvel Legends have is that they all have this uniform. Like, all the main Guardians have this uniform. And some people like it, some people won't. Personally, I think it looks perfect. To me, it's a great iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, more comic book accurate costumes. But the first thing I want to take a look at is the face sculpt. That is super impressive. It's the most Chris Pratt accurate Marvel Legend we've seen so far, and that is super awesome. Chris Pratt, my favorite actor, so it's super awesome to have a figure of his likeness. Then you can see that the paint job has been really well done for the most part. In this section, the red stripes should definitely go all the way to the bottom, but what else can you do about it? Really nicely designed boots, and that's something I want to talk about once I do the only other Marvel Legends Guardians figure I have, that being Drax. Take a look here at the profile. You can see the way that the joints have been added and the paint job. That looks really fantastic. And even here at the back, they also detailed all the sort of wrinkle in his clothes. That's really awesome. And overall, in terms of the likeness, yeah, you can tell this is Chris Pratt. But now let's take a look at the articulation. So, with the articulation, of course, being a Marvel Legends, it's very articulated. Here you can see the ball joint on the head, so he can look all the way up, down, side to side. Is it me, or do sometimes the Marvel Legends have slightly too long necks? See, there's a torso joint, which is pretty awesome. A bit of a waist joint, which might be slightly hindered because of his belt. The arm joints are really awesome, and he also has elbow joints. New elbow joints, ones that have been just recently attached to Marvel Legends. Also a rotation here at the hand, and I'm gonna talk about the weapons in a moment, but I think the figure just looks way more complete with those in these segments. He also has articulation here at the legs, multiple articulations. Again, the new style of elbow and knee joints. He also has a bit of a swivel here, and this, which I believe is called ankle rocker pivot. I'm not entirely sure what you can call it. It's either in the way that the foot moves, and as well as the boot rotates. It's really awesome, and pose like this can definitely help for positions, poses like this one. And yeah, this is a really articulated Star-Lord. But now let's take a look at his accessories. So, the only accessory Star-Lord comes with, the only other thing the figure comes packaged with, are his blasters. And they're really well detailed, well painted. I really like how these look. I always loved the way Star-Lord's weapons look. And some people think this is pretty much nothing in comparison to what they could have added. Like in the, a bit of a slight spoiler here, but in the volume 3 he never uses his helmet, and it would have been really cool if they added his helmet, but I guess since they felt like if that it would be inaccurate maybe to have him with the helmet. Also would have liked if he came with something else, I'm not sure. And this is something interesting, is that the Guardians of the Galaxy volume 3 Marvel Legends wave is a Build-A-Figure specifically for Cosmo the Space Dog, and Star-Lord and the Deluxe Groot are the only characters without the Build-A-Figure piece, so we can't really show a Build-A-Figure piece here. But as you can see there, how it is to attach the weapons to his hands, and I actually remember the first time I got the figure out of the packaging, I had a hard time putting those weapons in his hands, but there you go. And now let's do some size comparisons. Comparison, here is Star-Lord next to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Drax. And these are the only Guardians of the Galaxy figures in my collection. I definitely want to get the full wave. Drax did come with a Build-A-Figure piece, I'm definitely planning on doing a Drax video later on, but these scale really nicely next to each other. Of course, that's definitely the point here with these Marvel Legends. And now let's take a look at some others. Here is Star-Lord next to the Marvel Legends Black Panther Wakanda Forever Okoye, and this is actually my first ever Marvel Legends. Okoye was the first here, and I believe that around the second or third of my collection has been Star-Lord, so yeah, I definitely do not have that big of a Marvel Legends collection, and I don't really want to have a huge Marvel Legends collection. Just with a couple of characters I like, I'm more than content. But overall, this is good scaling. Now, of course, Okoye never interacted with Star-Lord, but they were technically in the same movie because of Avengers Infinity War, so, you know, interesting scaling here, and these are actually representing two of my favorite recent MCU movies. Those have been Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I thought was incredible, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I also thought was incredible, so my two favorite modern MCU movies next to each other. And now for an animated comparison, here we have Star-Lord next to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. And this is one I also got at discount. I actually got these two the exact same day. At Target, they were on a sale. Actually, all the Marvel Legends in my collection have come from discounts. Star-Lord was $21, and sure, that's not really much, since they're $25, but hey, it was something. And Jessica Drew was $12, so yeah. Probably not very hot sellers. And these are okay scaling, I guess, because we'll never really know, since, you know, Star-Lord is meant to be in live action, whereas for Jessica Drew is animated, so it's interesting just to see how much variety Marvel Legends has had this year with an animated movie and a few live actions. And here we have Star-Lord next to She-Hulk. And sure, She-Hulk is very tall here, but it makes sense. This is definitely accurate scaling, and even though, of course, these are character leagues apart, especially in terms of what people think about the quality, regards to the Galaxy Volume 3 being considered the best of the current MCU, and She-Hulk being considered the worst of the MCU. But without that discussion, I think these look very cool next to each other. And now let's do some non-Marvel Legends comparisons. Here is Star-Lord next to the Jack Pacific 4-inch Sonic, and this is actually something I mentioned on my Sonic video, one of the most viewed videos on the channel. This is actually pretty good scaling. Sonic is definitely, and overall Sonic's friends are always meant to be shorter than a human. So I think this is really cool scaling, and that's mainly why I like these Jack Pacific Sonic figures. I like the scale they are next to some human characters. And here is Star-Lord next to Classic Sonic, who has been the most popular figure in this channel so far. More than 350 views at the time of recording this. I want to thank everyone so much for so many views. And that's also why Classic Sonic is now going to become a standard on this channel. So expect from here on out Classic Sonic to be in all of these size comparisons. And here he is next to the Moose Toy, Space Jam New Legacy, Bugs Bunny, and Lola Bunny. I really gotta do a video on those soon. And again, this is really fun scaling. I do think this is accurate enough to what Bugs Bunny would definitely scale next to a real actor. In the case here of Star-Lord, and that's also why I think that the human characters from the Space Jam line were a bit too short. But we're focusing here on Star-Lord. Pretty cool scaling here. And finally, the Transformers Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. Now, I just want to do this showcase because these two movies, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Transformers Rise of the Beasts, have been my two favorite movies of the year so far. And the rest of the films that are coming out this year will definitely not be able to top this. So, here are my two favorite characters, or my two favorite movies of the year so far, but that's with comparisons. And finally, the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Star-Lord is one of my favorite figures in my entire collection. Chris Pratt is my favorite actor, so it's super awesome to have a very accurate figure. Like, this is the most accurate Chris Pratt face sculpt Marvel Legends has done so far. The articulation is great. The only thing I wish he came with, apart from a Build-A-Figure piece to build Cosmo quicker, would be his Walkman, or I guess at this point he doesn't have the Walkman. Maybe the Soon, or whatever the kind of iPod-like thing he had. I really wish he came with an accessory, and since it's been confirmed this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, this is probably going to be one of, if not the last, new Star-Lord figure, unless they want to go, like, to the first or second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but apart from that, I really doubt we'll see Star-Lord anytime soon. So, overall, this is a fantastic figure, and it's been on discount. I've seen some people sell for like $15, which kind of makes me regret having to pay $21 for him. But overall, he's a fantastic figure. I definitely recommend him if you're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy collection, even if he doesn't include a Build-A-Figure piece. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the